Hello, folks. We have had some good news stories in New Brunswick the last little while. There, as far as I know right now, no new COVID cases, and not a single person has passed away, praise the Lord, due to COVID, and things are beginning to slowly reopen. In fact, our own Miracles at First Childcare is reopening beginning on Monday. And that's going to have some impact on us as a congregation. And you're going to be receiving an email from me this week with some new protocols that are going to be in place based on that. So please keep an eye out for that. It'll probably also be on our firstmoncton.com website. And so be watching for that. But it has been good news in New Brunswick that things are going so well. And things are beginning to reopen. And you may be asking yourself, what about First Baptist? As time goes on, are we slowly going to be reopening as well? And the answer is maybe, depending on how things continue to go. And I did want to share with you today, not some specific plans and protocols, but just to let you know, we are talking about it, we're thinking about it, we're praying about it. And we're in the process of trying to put some plans together. And we have some principles that we are following around this whole idea of reopening that I want to share with you. Some of these principles I have received from our own CBAC convention, and I've added some of my own ideas around it as well. I want to mention I'm so grateful to CBAC and to the executive minister, Peter Reed, who has been so helpful not only to our congregation, but to all of the congregations in the convention, providing all of the support and encouragement they can through these difficult days. And they've helped with these principles as well. So the principles I want to mention are around developing a reopening plan. And the first principle is this: slower is better, hurry is risk. Slower is better, hurry is risk. As we begin looking at the possibility of slowly reopening First Baptist, we're going to be doing it slowly, carefully, and cautiously. We don't want anyone, God forbid, to get sick because we were over anxious to get things opened up too quickly. In fact, a number of physicians have communicated that a good rule of thumb for churches is to stay one step behind the government and our neighborhoods. And that sounds like good advice to me. So we're going to be hauling up the rear a little bit around some of these other groups and businesses in the Moncton area, and seeing if they can do it safely and following in their footsteps out of an abundance of caution. On the one hand, we want to fully honor and respect the authority that the Lord has placed over us and listen to their advice and follow their recommendations. And on the other hand, we do not want to be that gathering that, because of carelessness, causes a big wave of coronavirus to go through our community. And so we're going to be taking it very slowly and carefully. Second, as we develop a breakout plan, we're going to be fostering a deep sense of safety and have proper protocols in place to support that sense of security. Now, that's a fancy way of saying we want you, as you begin to slowly come back to First Baptist, to the building, to not only feel safe, we want you to be safe. And we're going to make sure that all the proper protocols and procedures are in place to make you as safe as we possibly can. Your safety is going to be our primary concern as we begin to reopen. Third, as we develop a plan, we're going to be conscious of the fact that senior adults will and should be slower to return to larger gatherings. And we'll be asking ourselves, what does this mean for our future ministries going forward in the months to come before there's a vaccination? There's no question that they've discovered so far that senior adults are at higher risk of getting ill and dying as a result of the coronavirus. And we want to continue to reach out to senior adults, but at the same time, keep them safe. And we'll be looking at how we can best do that. Number 4, the fourth principle we'll be looking at is the idea that staying safe does not mean necessarily staying away. We want to open our doors to different activities as soon as we are able to do so safely and securely with proper protocols in place. And so we want, believe me, I'm getting tired of speaking to a camera all the time. I want to see people face to face. And as soon as we feel we can do it safely and securely, even in smaller groups, we're going to begin to do that. Number 5, as I mentioned already, Miracles will be reopening before the rest of the church does. In fact, they'll be reopening on May 25th because as of right now, they've actually received permission from the government to reopen. They're delaying it a little bit in order to have the proper protocols in place for them. And that's going to mean some changes for our congregation. And as I said, you'll be receiving an email around these new changes and protocols designed to keep Miracles safe and designed to keep First Baptist safe as well. Andy Stanley has said that in church life, often what we encounter is not a problem to solve, but a tension to manage. And with that attitude, as we begin to reopen, this is going to be our new reality. We're going to have not problems to solve, but tensions to manage, to try to enable everything that needs to happen with safety and security and respect for all. And so we'll be asking people to be as flexible as possible, knowing that we're trying to keep everybody as safe as we can. And finally, as we move forward, we need all of us to be aware that there will be times when we take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And there may be times that we take 2 steps back. I watch the news incessantly, and probably more than I should, and they're talking about a second wave in the fall, and they're even talking about a possible third wave coming. And as these waves go through New Brunswick and go through Moncton, we may have to pull back some ministries for a time, and then we'll start to edge out again, and then we may have to pull back for a while. And we'll continue to make these adjustments in order to keep people as safe as possible. That's the mantra that I keep coming back to. It is true that we are in a new day. Many things will never be quite the same. In fact, many things that we're doing should never be the same again. We are called by God and by Jesus to be His church in this day. And this day is going to be a pandemic and post-pandemic world. The pandemic that we are currently in is an opportunity to reshape ourselves as the church of God. And we'll be looking at ways that we can do that to honor the Lord. The church of the future. We've talked about it a lot. Guess what? The church of the future is here. It's today. We're doing things now that we have never done before. We're envisioning possibilities that we've never envisioned before. We're climbing learning curves that are mountainous. God is up to a new thing at First Baptist. Our hope and prayer is that you will join us as we watch and listen and cooperate with Him. They're scary days, but they're also exciting days with great opportunities laying before us. And we are going to, under God's direction, grab hold of that for His kingdom and to His glory. Thanks for listening to me today.